Project Boro is now available as a podcast on your chosen podcast providers, so you can listen to every episode on the go. Simply go to the description of this video, click the link to the podcast provider of your choice, and subscribe or follow Project Boro, and you'll be able to find all episodes past, present and future right there for you to listen to on the go. Boro cash in their game in hand, winning their third on the bounce and their second clean sheet away from home. Who the hell is this team?
He's in, and he's snuck it across to Hayden Hutney!
What is up, guys? Matthew here. Welcome to another episode of Project Boro, and Boro indeed cashed in on their game in hand away to Birmingham City tonight at St Andrews, grinding out the most gritty and ugly and hard-fought 1-0 away win you will ever see. It was exactly that cliched, grounded out, take your chance when it comes and just hang on in there and really defend deep, win your second balls. It was a scrappy game. It wasn't the best game. I'm not going to pretend that this was one for the highlight reel, and if Boro do by some miracle get promoted this season, this game won't be making it onto the celebratory DVD. If that was to happen, probably won't, but you get the gist. This was not a great game, but these are the sort of wins I like. I sort of like these wins. You know, I said a couple of weeks ago when Boro were really in dire straits, I'm not bothered about us being pretty anymore. I'm not bothered about us playing nice football. At this stage, I just wanted to see us grind out results. I wanted to see us be a bit more reassured at the back. Obviously, it's a very difficult balance. You know, only the very top teams get it right, where you can be so solid at the back and yet be ruthless going forward. And I think the balance has certainly tipped more the other way. Boro definitely aren't the attacking, free-flowing, forward-thinking side that we have been under Michael Carrick. But we've traded that in for looking a lot more defensively solid, and that's what I wanted to see. I think that's a better basis, foundation to work from. You know, get the defence sorted, get the back sorted, get it solid, and work your way forward from there, rather than just being completely open and free-flowing and whatever going forward and leaving the back door open. And I'm glad that Boro have addressed that, and I'm not going to be going into too much detail about this game because, firstly, I missed the first 25 minutes, and secondly, as I say, nothing happened, basically. There wasn't much going on at all, but I will take this moment to give lots of praise to Michael Carrick, because twice this season we've questioned him. You know, there was that really poor run at the start of the season, we all remember it, post-Sheffield Wednesday, where Boro looked like the absolute worst team in the league. We turned that around, 6 wins in a row, maybe it was 7, including, I think, a cup game, can't remember, but we had a couple of clean sheets in a row and then ran out of steam, got bitty again, and then really had a slump at the start of this year. And just when things were getting a little bit tense and the mood around the club was quite poor, he's pulled something out the bag again, and I think we're starting to see this 3 at the back, 5 at the back, wing-back system starting to really... The players are starting to get comfortable with it, I feel. I think they're looking a little bit more comfortable in the system. It's working with the personnel. Arguably, before, it would only work in specific situations where Boro were very much the side without the ball, very much the side defending, like Leicester away, for an example. And we saw at home to Norwich and Stoke away and other games recently that Boro just looked at 6s and 7s with one another, you know, regardless of the system. We just looked like strangers who'd not played together before. We didn't look like a functioning unit or a cohesive unit of 11, but we're starting to see that now with this new system, and I'll run through a couple of reasons as to why I think it's working in a bit. But running through the game briefly, as I say, not much to discuss. I missed the first 20 minutes, so I'm not too sure what happened in the first 20 minutes. Not had a chance to really chat to anyone about it, but I missed the goal as well. Luckily, I saw a highlight of it, and it was an absolute cracker. A goal worthy of winning any game, and it was from the former Birmingham man, Riley McGree, of course. For me, our most technically gifted footballer, our most knowledgeable footballer. He's just fantastic to watch. He's so clever, and I believe Luke Ayling played a big part in this goal, winning the ball back. once again getting another assist. 3 and 3 for Luke Ayling now. It's another one who's really turned his form around and is working so much better in this 3 at the back system. And yeah, McGree let fly and absolutely thunder twatted it into the far corner. And it's great to see that sort of goal go in, because we've had plenty of them go against us this season. So a great goal, a great XG buster there from Riley McGree, and that put Boro in front. And then from there, it was just a scrappy game, really. Neither side particularly had much quality on show. I mean, we looked good in possession. I think we looked really good, as I say, in this system. We look like we're getting a bit better in possession. I think it was just getting into that final third where we're just not clicking fully at the moment. But yeah, defensively, Birmingham, they huffed and puffed. But quite honestly, it's alarming, and this is me just giving my bit on the opponent. I would be so frustrated if I was a Birmingham supporter, because I remember at the start of this season, they were in the playoffs under John Eustace, and you think finally they've cracked it. Finally they're going to finish above 17th, for God's sake, and they've somehow managed to self-sabotage their season. And I remember at the start of this season when I was covering the Championship in more detail, and I remember saying that Birmingham had the best transfer window, and the optimism, not just from Birmingham, but casual fans, neutrals like myself, were looking at Birmingham and going, wow, okay, this could be the turnaround for them. And I used to work with a friend of mine who's a Birmingham fan, lives in Middlesbrough, weird I know, but he was really optimistic about it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then to see the sacking of, obviously we all know the story, them sacking Eustace, why the hell they did that. Rooney was as disastrous as it gets, and now they are right in amongst a relegation dogfight. It's unfortunate what's happened to Tony Mowbray, and again, as a Boro fan, to a Boro icon, I wish him all the best and I hope he's recovering well, but they look terrible without him there. And I do worry for them that if he doesn't come back in time, they could quite easily go down, and they looked and had all the makings of a side who look like they might go down. I mean, as I say, the players they've got in their side, the signings they've made, they shouldn't be anywhere near. But going forward, they were absolutely awful. Not a shot on target from Birmingham. Senny wasn't bothered once. The only real moments of danger actually come from Boro's own doing. You know, trying to play the ball out, taking too much time on it at the back. Senny dropped a cross, which was nearly a calamitous error, but for the most part, it was an easy day at the office for Boro, and they didn't really have to get out of second gear to win the game. You know, second half, again, it plodded along. Boro didn't look like scoring a second, but in no way did Birmingham look like they were going to get anywhere near a first, and it was just a case of, could Boro hang on? Could they maintain their concentration? I think in a game like this, away from home, you've got a side battling for their lives. The commentators mentioned it on BBC Tees. It was a good point. The game in this situation with this side and these circumstances can become chaotic. It can become crazy. And that isn't good for a side like Middlesbrough. It's easy for us. You know, and we've seen this. It's so typical Boro. These are the banana skins we've often slipped up on quite a lot in the past. But credit to us, you know, we didn't have to defend like we were on the ropes. But when crosses were put in, we were heading them clear. When balls were being flicked on, we were switched on to win the second balls. And for the most part, we kept our concentration, didn't get complacent, and kept that clean sheet. And that's a characteristic we've not seen much from Boro at all under Carrick. I mentioned it in the last Project Boro. Some ridiculous stat, like only 3 away clean sheets in 40 plus away games. It's now two in a row, which is something I never thought I'd see, and I'm all for it. But the game petered out. The most dramatic thing in the second half was the fact the referee went off injured, and it was just, Boro hoping to hang on, hoping we hung on, didn't drop 2 points, and really let the win slip away, and we didn't. And that's all she wrote, really. Not much else to say about this one. A little bit on the starting lineup. Boro went unchanged once again, which again is something we've not seen very much from Carrick, but it's good to see that the players in this side are playing well. They're in form. They're playing well week in, week out, and Carrick's keeping the system as is. It's only going to build confidence and, I guess, chemistry with the players playing in this system. But yeah, I think the back three were absolutely fantastic. You know, Rav, again, he is just a superstar. He is a superstar. I worry he might not be here next season, but if he is, he at 19 looks like a world beater, and he come up trumps once again, as well as defending his box so well. when Dieng did make the fumble, you know, he was there, switched on, was able to get there in front of the Birmingham striker. And I think the other two were fantastic. Clark headed absolutely everything. And McNair covered Ayling well, and that leads on to the wing-backs, who I think just look so much better in this system. You know, the two things I would say that was up with Boro when we were playing with the back four was Ayling often got isolated and caught out quite easily at right back, and it was so easy for sides to attack us down the right. And equally on the other side, I think because Engel was the left of a back four, we couldn't see the absolute best from him creatively. We couldn't see him get forward, bomb on, really commit into the opposition's final third or defensive third, because he only had a centre-back in behind him. And we saw it so often, you know, if Boro's midfield was caught out of possession, we were so open and so easy to attack. But now, Ayling has the licence to go forward freely. If he can't get back, McNair will cover. And equally, with Clark in behind Engel, it takes the handbrake off Engel. And that's what we've been asking for so often and so much this season. And we're starting to see the best of Lucas Engel, I feel. And him and Ayling have been tremendous. And two of our best players in this run of wins. And I think a lot of that is down to the system. Midfield 2 continues to look really good. I think Howson and O'Brien, as I said, offer such a good balance. I think their chemistry is growing. And I generally feel like it would be difficult now to see Barlasser or Hackney even get back into this team, given how well these two are playing. Is an interesting query, though, that neither are quite signed on for next season. O'Brien's on loan, Howson's out of contract. Intrigued to see what decision the club makes on both of them circumstances. And then going forward, Riley McGree, of course, the star of the show with that goal. He was sort of not as influential as he has been, but when he was on the ball, he's such a fantastic footballer to watch. And yeah, you can't take nothing away from him. The goal was absolutely outstanding. The only part of the side that was slightly under par was the strikers. Didn't really get into the game. Didn't really fork up many opportunities. Neither Lath or Foss really laid much of an imprint on the game. So we've kind of got to thank Riley for that moment of magic that obviously got us the 3 points. I will have a quick word for the subs. I thought Finazaz come on, didn't really have an impact on the game, but it was so scrappy at that point and chaotic and scruffy. You know, it's not the sort of game for him. But I do think Sam Green would come on and did quite well on the left-hand side. I will give him that. You know, he got stuck in, won the ball a few times, got us a couple of free kicks, and yeah, played his part, I feel, and did well off the bench. And as you can see, stats and momentum, there wasn't any. Game opened up a bit second half. They had a bit of a spell. We had a bit of a spell. But you can see the pattern throughout the game. You know, just very ploddy. You know, very ploddy, very slow, and yeah, not a great game to watch. But who the hell cares, eh? As for the XG, once again, you know, a complete juxtaposition from earlier in the season where Boro would have all the possession, put together a decent XG and fail to convert. Once again, we were the side with less possession, still managed more XG than the opposition, took our chance when it came, which is something we haven't done all season. Birmingham, as I say, a bit more of the ball, did nothing with it. You can see by the shot map, they didn't really get near Boro's goal. They were restricted to shots from miles out or just inside the area, and not a single shot on target, which is a damning stat for them. And we move on to the table, and this is where I'm going to try my absolute hardest to not say the P word, but it's probably going to come out of my mouth at some point. Boro, 9th, cashing in, as I say, on the game in hand we've had in our back pocket for weeks now. They are very frustrating when you don't take advantage of them, and it's always something people pull out, you know, oh, it's okay that we're only 14th, we've got a game in hand, but you have to win it. And we did, and that's massive for Boro. It's a big, big win. Away from home, puts us up to 953 points, 5 points off of 6th, which happens to be a playoff position. But you know what? I'm still not going to get on the playoff high horse, because 5 points, you know, it's still a substantial gap to overcome given the form of Norwich. Hull drawing quite a lot of games, and Coventry are a little bit hot and cold, but I still think Boro's form will have to maintain this level for another good few weeks for us to really get into that mix. And I still will say, I think Norwich, Hull and Coventry are the three we're going to be fighting out for that final position. But, you know, just for Boro to still be there, give us something to look up to, keeping our season alive. That's all I care about, you know, because the worst feeling, and I said this again a couple of weeks back, the worst feeling as a fan is having nothing to play for and feeling like the season's done with so many games left, and we've just about kept this season alive, and it's great. It's fantastic, and there's still a number of things I'm not convinced by. I still think we need to try and pick up things going forward while also being strong at the back. I also want to see how we perform at home, because albeit we beat Norwich in this run, we weren't very convincing at all up until their red card, and we've produced 2 very good away wins. And Boro's away record actually is outstanding. If I just switch to the away table on YouTube, you'll see Boro are actually a playoff side away from home. We're 6th in the league for away performances, 29 points from 19. It's at home where we're 16th, and we're very, very low on the goal scoring charts as well. So I still need to be convinced by Boro's home form. We still need to utilise this style at home in a way that works. I do hope Carrick doesn't go back to a back 4 though at the weekend at home to Blackburn. I hope he sticks with this, sticks with the same team. Hopefully we'll see improvements on some of the previous home games, because we desperately need a win at home. And if we can start getting the home crowd believing again, the Riverside could become a huge weapon in maybe getting Boro into the mix. But I'm still very much holding back on that, because it is worth noting, as yet we've got Blackburn, Sheffield and Swansea over the next few weeks, all at home. After that, we've got Hull, Ipswich and Leeds. So our season might be kept alive up until that point, and then it might very much receive a knockout blow at that point. So I think our run-in is very, very tough. That might prove to be the moment Boro's season is finally put to the sword. But knowing us and the way we've been playing this season, we're better against the top teams. So who the hell knows is all I'll say. Let's just enjoy the ride and see what the hell happens, because this football club, man, just when you're giving up and you've lost interest and you don't want to know, they just pull you bloody back in again. When you're going well and you're flying and you think everything's great, they knock you down to earth with a terrible run of crap performances, and then equally when they're playing crap and you think it's over and you lose interest and you don't want to know them anymore, they reel you back in with 3 wins on the bounce. This bloody football club of ours, I tell you. But we wouldn't have it any other way, would we? But looking ahead to the weekend's game, like I say, Blackburn at home, big opportunity for Boro to get a win at home, head-to-head against Blackburn. Not the best. I think they beat us last season at home in the earlier side of it, and we drew the season before. So head-to-heads at home, not the best. Blackburn have definitely had the edge on us in recent times, but they're a side 18th, only 3 points above the drop as well. So yeah, it's another huge opportunity for Boro to not only get a 4th win in a row, but show something at the Riverside too. And I do think we'll win. It's the first time I've predicted Boro to win in quite a while, but I think, again, it won't be pretty, but I think it'll be another ugly win where we'll get a goal early maybe, and then when Blackburn push forward we might get another. And I'm going to back us to get another clean sheet, which is crazy, I know, but I'll say 2-0 Boro at the weekend. I'll say 2-0 Boro, and us to make it 4 wins in a row. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, whether you're a Boro fan. I'd be very intrigued to hear from any Brummies out there as well, just their thoughts on the season, because as a neutral I find it kind of fascinating and kind of heartbreaking to see what's happened to their season. I can't possibly begin to imagine how Birmingham fans are feeling at the moment, but I'd love to hear their thoughts on the relegation battle and if they think they've got enough to stay up, because they should on paper, but yeah, at the minute that's no guarantee, is it? So I'd be intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do subscribe for more. We review every Boro game on this channel, as well as other cool football content in between. And if you are, of course, listening to this on the old podcast provider, do give me a like, a subscribe, a follow and a rating over there too. And until next time, guys, I'll be back after the home game at the weekend to hopefully report on another Boro win to see if we can make it 4 in a row. But until then, I'll see you guys at the weekend.